Right. Okay, so good evening. I think as business people, I'm sure everybody on this call at this moment is a business person, and so we don't intend to take anybody's time. And so I'm going to start as soon as possible. Anybody who joins would try and see how we can do some quick recaps for them to catch up. And so by way of introduction, my name is Gabriel. Gabriel Amo, as you can see on the screen. I work with SINOP Investment as a consultant. And today I'm happy to be presenting to you 10 things that you need to know before you start a business or before you want to start a business in Ghana, okay? Before we start, I would like to clearly make some disclaimers or put this across so that it shapes the perspective with which, or put the conversation into perspective. And first amongst them is that the subject that is going to be discussed now is absolutely compressed. It's absolutely compressed in the sense that it's a very broad topic, but I've worked as hard as I can to see how best I can pull them together in a single breath. So if there is something that you missed along the line, you can ask, or later, you can feel free to call SINOP and seek further clarification. I'm sure as prompt as we are in what we do, SINOP will be able to share any information with you. The second thing I would like to talk about is our source of information, okay? Most of the things that we'll be talking about today are absolutely based on research. And so we are going to be talking to some research work or some findings of some experts in industry. It is also based on my personal research that I've done in the past, especially in the area of linking some research works, earlier research works into businesses in Ghana, right? Into businesses in Ghana. Again, but wherever I did quote somebody's work, I will try as my best to ensure that I state clearly where the source is coming from, so that if you want to do further research or further learning, you'll be able to do that on your own. The third thing is that we speak out of experience, okay? I've been able to gather this information from my 13 years experience as an entrepreneur and as a businessman. I have my personal experience, and again, experience based on consulting with others who have done businesses in Ghana or who intend to do business in Ghana. And so some of the information we'll be sharing today have been collected from there. Again, it's also based on observations and talking to other people. I'm sure if you have been in Ghana well enough and you've traveled, you mostly hear people asking, why are Ghanaians like this? Why is it that when you start a business in Ghana, it doesn't work? When you get Ghanaians and they do this, why is Ghanaians and Ghanaians and Ghanaians? I'm sure you hear all that. And so some of the main reason why this topic has become relevant or paramount that we want to discuss is to give some explanations to some of these questions so that we come to understand why it is so most of the time, and we'll be able to learn and not repeat the mistake that we do. I would also want to issue a disclaimer on some of the words and examples I'll be using. It is natural and expected that some words or some expressions, some phraseology might affect some people's sensitivity. And if it does happen, please pardon us, because we speak to a large and a broad number of people. And so it might be used just for example purposes and might not be intended to hit anybody's sensitivity. I would also like to clarify clearly that the application of what I am going to be talking about is worldwide. The Ghana in the heading does not necessarily mean that everything that we're going to talk about is keyed or locked to Ghana. I think broadly so, some are human characteristics. And so I'm just going to draw our attention to something that we already know. And just a reminder so that if we want to step into any business venture, some of these things would be on our minds, okay? Last but not the least, I would also want to say clearly that some of the words or some of the statements I'll be making will appear as though I am putting the general Ghanaian in a dark light or in a bad picture. If it does happen so, I'm sure we know ourselves better. And the objective, like I said, is to help us understand some of our natural characteristics and also see how we can maneuver through when we get there. And so I want to clearly disclaim that that is clearly not the intention. Our intention is to shift our mindset so that we'll be able to tread cautiously when dealing with Ghanaians or when dealing with ourselves when we are starting business. I hope I am clear, folks.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, so without much ado, I'll quickly go to the topic of the day, which I'm sure you can see boldly on your screen, the 10 things you need to know before you start a business in Ghana. Okay, I move to, just a minute. Just a minute, for some reasons, my slides are not moving. Just give me a minute.
Hello, Ms. Amon.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, a quick one. Please, may I know how many hours it's going to take?
Oh, 30 minutes. 30 minutes maximum. 30 to 40 minutes should be out of this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, so basically, I think the first thing I would like to talk about is what I say, understanding the Ghanaian people or Ghanaians as a people. I believe that anywhere you want to start a business, you must understand the people because you're certainly going to work with people. And so it is important that you understand the psyche, the way the people think, and the way the people do their things, which will generally inform how you should approach your business. If it is going to be a one-man show, certainly you're going to sell to people. And if your job is going to include employing or working with others, then you certainly know that you must understand the people. And today, because it is in the context of Ghana, I am happy to present some of the mind or the psychology of the Ghanaian people. And I'm sure we will learn from it greatly. Okay, and by doing that, I talk to a work of a man called Hofstede, right? Hofstede's work dates back as 1980. So it tells us that his work has been tried and tested. It is highly employed in the field of marketing. And of course, since marketing plays a major part in any business, we want to treat it and bring it in the business front so that it does not really stay at the back office. And earlier, like I said, I did a lot of work in this area when I was working on a research with Ghanaian culture and how business perform, right? So Hofstede said something which is very interesting, okay? He traveled across the world collecting data. And he said that every person in the world can be measured, or every group of countries can be measured under 6 key. Initially it was 5, but later became 6 key dimensions. And the first among them was what he called the power distance. Now, what power distance simply means is that he said that it is the extent to which less powerful people in an institution or an organization or within a country expect or accept power distribution, how power is distributed. So in a nutshell, he's talking about hierarchy, how the people in the country sees hierarchy, okay? Whether there's a big man, I'm the small man, let me maintain my small space. The big man is coming, everybody sit down. You know, how they look at this, he measured how the people do this as their culture, how they see power, all right? And going forward, you see how he measured Ghanaians. Again, he talks about something he called individualism and collectivism. So he said that in a country, the people are either individualistic, sort of, or collective. That is, they sort of are more careful or interdepend on each other, or they are more individualistic. They more think about, hey, I want to do this, I'm going to do this. Or they think about, oh, what will people say? Are people okay with this? That is how he measured the second dimension, okay? He also went on to say that in every country, the people are either masculine or feminine, okay? And by saying masculine or feminine, he's suggesting that if they are masculine, then they are more power-oriented, or they are more daring to achieve higher heights. He said that the country is feminine if they are okay with, oh, let me mind my own business. Oh, okay, this is what I can get. This is how I'm able to, go with. This is okay. Let me manage it like that. You know, they are more content, as a sort of, right? And he said that they are feminine, of course, yeah, they are feminine when they are more content, but they are masculine when they see higher heights. And so by that, he says clearly that the fundamental issue here is, okay, what motivates people? Wanting to be the best, which is masculine, or liking what they do. let me manage my small business, everything will be fine. Okay. The other three he talked about was what he called uncertainty avoidance. And by that, he says that the extent to which members of a culture feel threatened by ambitious and unknown situations, okay? And so they create beliefs and situations to try to avoid them. And so he said that in any country or in any jurisdiction, people who are uncertain try to avoid them, or they try to work along it, okay? Now, the last but one you talked about what you call long-term or short-term orientation, and I'm sure this is self-explanatory. So that either they are long-term, focus on everything they are doing, they are ambitious, they are looking at 20 years, I'm going to leave this for my children, I'm going to do that, this is supposed to stay for next generation. They look far, okay? Or they are short-term oriented, everything, let's finish this and let's share our money and let's move on, okay? So he said that long-term orientation emphasizes on persistence, perseverance, and long-term growth. Short-term orientation emphasizes on quick results and respect for tradition. And I'm sure this one, I'm sure you can quickly guess where he put our country, all right? Now, last but not the least, he said that indulgence or restraint. And indulgence indicates that the society allows relatively free gratification related to enjoyment of life and having fun. So these are the 6 variables that our researcher, who was a psychologist, as of 1980, did. And like I said, these findings have been able to stand the test of time till this particular age. So just to show you a table. Yes. So as far as Ghana is concerned, this is how Hofstede found out as far as our country is concerned. Now, Hofstede realized that in Ghana, we scored 80. So mind you, this is over 100. So we scored 80 on power distance, which simply, like I said earlier, which simply means that in Ghana, we respect so much to power. Okay, we believe that, oh, this is the boss, I am the junior. If my boss has not spoken, I cannot speak. If my boss is not there, I cannot do that. We respect so much when it comes to power, all right? Again, he realized that when it comes to individuality, we are very low. It means that we are very collective people. We tend to think about what others will say about what we want to do. If somebody even does something and we want to report, we are thinking about, oh, what is he going to say? My best friend has done it, I'm going to report it. You know, we are always thinking the collective rather than being individualistic. Okay. He realized that we are people of more to femininity. Okay, we are a bit content with, oh, let me manage my small space. We are content. We don't generally always want to strive, higher. A little thing, you can sell pure water for 20 years, it's okay, that's fine. You can sell Gary for 40 years on the table, he's fine. You know, that kind of mindset. That is what Hofstede saw. And so that uncertainty avoidance, generally, he saw the Ghanaian people try to avoid uncertainty. What we are not sure, we try to put together mechanisms and systems to make things shorter so that we don't meet, some stuff in future. And as we get along, we see certain highlights of same. We're also long-term orientation, we are very short. So we are short-term people. In indulgence, we are people who like to have fun. We like to party. We like to, enjoy ourselves. To put it clearly into perspective, I managed to compare it with the US. And you can see that in the US, they have lower power distance, which means for them, yes, power is fine. But if my boss is not there, I quickly can take over and do something. Or when it's authority, I can speak to authority. I can bring down, what has to be said to authority, unlike our side. Individually, realize that in the US, they are more individualistic. He can take a decision and action it. He can report to you whether you are his children, whether you are his child, his wife. He can take you to court, stuff like that. Masculinity, they are firmer. They strive for higher ideals and stuff, unlike our side. And they, unlike us, are not really certain on creating things to avoid uncertainty, all right? And long-term orientation, they are compared to us. And indulgence, we more like party and stuff as compared to them. So this is the comparison. But when you look up there, you see that I put the website, a link there. That is the source of my information. So at your free time, feel free. You can do comparison. Every country in the world has its chart there, and you can compare our own to the others. So that in future, if you also want to go to another country to do business, you can understand how they take certain things and see how you react when you go to them. I hope I'm clear up to this stage.
Yes, you are.
Some feedback. Okay, good, great. Okay, so with that man, I'll quickly run you through the 10 things I am suggesting that we must bear in mind if we want to approach business in Ghana. And like I said, the Ghana I use is just to put this in perspective, but some of these ideas are applicable everywhere in the world. I think you should have it in mind anytime you want to do business, all right? So first among them is what I call know yourself, okay? And I believe that obviously, if you want to do business, you need to understand yourself. You need to understand your strengths. You need to understand your weaknesses. You need to know what you can do. You need to know what you cannot do. You need to analyze your own personal skills and your personal acumen. Most of the times, I have been here where people meet me and they're, oh, Gabby, I want to start a business. Okay, in what area? Then they start talking and you realize that it is either somebody's idea that they have picked, it's either somebody's concept that they have picked, it's something that they don't really understand. And you realize that when you match their personal skills and their personality with what they are talking about, far from it, they have no skill or no direction in that, okay? In that. So that is that. So the first thing you need to do is know yourself. And for the purposes of those who are not Christians, in the Christian Bible, one of the letters of Paul suggested that for just as each of us have one body and many members, these members do not have the same functions, so Christ. And he said that when you go to, they said, we have different gifts according to the grace given to each of us. If your gift is to prophesy, then prophesy in accordance with your faith. And if your gift is to serve, serve. So all we are trying to put across is that know yourself. If you know that you cannot do this, you get somebody to do it. If you know you cannot, you can do leadership, lead. If you know you can sell, sell. If you know you can market, market. Don't just jumble everything. Otherwise, like you saw on the HOFSTED'S chart, Ghanaians respect our distance. Ghanaians, it's difficult to have somebody walk to you and say, sir, what you are doing is not working. It won't work. We are usually, oh, that's the boss. The boss says it will work. So let's manage it. Let's manage it and move on. Okay, so the first one is know thyself. Okay. The second one is everyone is a marketer. Okay. And this one, I catch you this way just to tease our thinking. But all we are trying to put across is that Ghanaians are influential people. Everyone influences the other. And again, it comes from our dimension of collectivity. And so you cannot just run down or just take advantage of one person and think that the others will follow suit. Technically, we are going to spread the news. And because we interdepend on each other, whatever you say to one will ripple through quickly. If the thing is nice, it ripples through quickly. How many times have you not gone to buy watch or even cake somewhere, and all you see a long queue and everybody's like, oh, somebody recommended, somebody recommended, somebody recommended. You run more with recommendation. There are other places I have been, but I tell you what, if you like, you buy this, it is good for you. You tell somebody it's good, he will never buy it. It is good for you, it might not be good for him. But here, generally, we tend to depend on each other. So if you want to do a business here, you need to really know how to treat people. You need to really know how to get along with people. You need to spread your liking ahead of your starting of your business. Otherwise, it's only a matter of time that it's going to go down. Okay. This one, I call it, we fear to tell it to your face unless you wear a mask. And I put it there that we are shy people. Okay. One thing I've observed and through my consultation is that generally we're respectful, we kind of shy of each other. And so I always say that if you want to start a business and you need some information or data, and you are talking to a friend, a colleague, or anything, try and use third parties. So for example, I want to start a pure water company, and I go to Joyce, and I say, oh, Joyce, my friend wants to start a pure water business in Taiwan. What do you think? It's likely that because I said a friend of mine, Joyce is likely to state clearly and very objective that, oh, it won't work. You don't buy this, it won't work. If I said to Joyce that, Joyce, I want to start, the likelihood business doesn't want to hurt my feelings. So you realize that we are mostly tied to telling you what you want to hear. If it is you, then it's third party. So what I've always advised my young clients or entrepreneurs or young business people is that whenever you are trying to share your idea with third parties or other parties, especially those you know, try and say, oh, it's a friend of mine or somebody I met is saying this, what do you think? And you can be sure that they'll be very, very objective with you. The first one is that do not downplay statistics, but don't take them too seriously. Okay? I mean, I wish I can give you a very pictorial example, but probably it takes time. But there are so many data, that don't add up. I've been a researcher now, and I've worked with a lot of researchers. And when you pick certain data, you realize that, and I'm sure any of you have done some academic research or dissertation, you know how we collect data. If you follow so much statistics that is on the market or anywhere, you might make a mistake. However, you don't have to downplay them. So I always say, work as you work. So you yourself find a way of collecting your own data as realistic as you can, but also make sure that you are treading caution, minding that we are short-term oriented and we avoid uncertainty. So when you ask somebody today that, oh, I want to do pure water, what do you think? It's a good business. You will start. Give yourself a year, ask the same person, his answer. And so working as you work is consistently being involved with your idea, and at every point in time, try to collect as much data and statistics as possible, and try to be shifting your strategy as our society shifts, because things shift and change so quickly here that if you have a 5-year business plan and you think that is what you're going to sit down and sleep for the next 5 years, believe you me, your business will not last even a year. All right. So I always say, don't downplay statistics, but don't take them too seriously. Okay. The fifth point is when it comes to human resource, I always say, don't hire out of pity. Okay. We live in a system that everybody wants to work when they are hungry or when they are broke. Okay. And so if you go around thinking that, oh, I want to start a business, but there's a guy at my junction, oh, the way the guy is, everything has me for money, but I think I can give him a job. My brother, my sister, we are going to drive our business down. If you are hiring workers, take them through processes, take them through procedures, hire the right fit, and get them to do the job. If you want to help somebody who is begging, please go ahead and be giving them their pillar, but do not come and mingle your generosity and your petty with your business here, because we can really pretend we want to work, but when you give us the work, it becomes something else. We let you understand, no, all we needed was money, not work. Okay, so it's something we should bear in mind. When it comes to human resource, please get the right team, SINOP investment, anything. You can talk to them, we can assist you to get right things so that you get the people to carry your vision through for you. The money is very important. I don't think you always need it. And from my experience, I've met so many people who have, oh, can you help me do a business plan, financial projection? You want to go and take a loan? Okay, what do you need a loan for? Oh, I want to start a business, but I need an office. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, your voice is down.
Is it?
Hello, this is Frank.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Gabby.
Yes, it's clear now, but earlier on it's down.
Okay, George, you have your George.
Yeah, your voice was also fading away. So
Yes.
I'll just prompting you on that.
All right, so it's better now.
It's
yes,
quite
it's
it's better. It's better.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so
hello.
yes, Frank.
Hello. Yes, because your voice was down, I couldn't get the point 4 very well, clear.
Okay. So let me just quickly run to that. So okay, so point 4 was simply saying that we should not downplay statistics. Of course, I'm a researcher and I believe in data, but all I'm putting across is that there's so many data on our market today which are corrupt. I should be honest with you. I've worked with so many, but if you're not careful, you end up with a wrong conclusion. So all I'm putting across is that do not take data for granted, but also be careful how you collect data on our market. The best thing I am advising is that you yourself work as you work, collect your own data, work with it. Every now and then, try and collect new data and adjust yourself, because our mind and our lifestyle change so quickly here. And so that is basically what I'm advising. So that is what I talked about when it came to the fourth point.
Thank you.
All right. Now, when it comes to the money side, I said money is very important, but it may not be needed, okay? And like I quickly was saying that there's so many times that you meet people that they need money, they just really need money to do a business. When you interrogate them and you ask them, what do you need the money for? They say, okay, I need the money to buy a computer. I said, okay, so you need a computer, you don't need money. All I'm putting across is that we are people of generosity, we are people who are collective. We believe in stretching hands. And so sometimes in the absence of money, try and hone your negotiation skills so that you can meet me or meet any others. Oh, can you borrow me your computer? I want to use it for some time and I'll bring it back. So you realize that you can negotiate instead of crying about money. All I'm putting across is that by and large, there are so many options. And so if you really want to do things in Ghana, so many things you can get in terms of partnerships or in terms of negotiation, rather than putting your hand up, crying for money and never achieving your game. Number 7 is contracts are mostly seen as formality and not practical. You know, there are so many times that you do a business or you want to start a business, you try to partner or your suppliers and you put down the contract, oh, quickly they sign. Something goes wrong and it's like they've never seen a contract before. It's like they never read a line because we believe that, oh, it's a formality. You go for program, sign, they just sign. But if you want your business to be sustainable, for you to get all your liabilities through and everything through, try and ensure that anybody that you design a contract with, take a little pain to go through the contract with them or ensure that they read it before you sign so that in future you are not going to have a problem, all right? The 8th one, which I find very interesting, is that we always find a way to pay ourselves. And this one, I say to our friends who think they are smart, they think they want to start a business and just get some cheap labor and take advantage of the average person. I tell you what, we always have a way we pay ourselves, and your guess is as good as mine. If you don't have your projection clear, please don't hire people. If you think you don't have money, or you think you're a con man, or you can just get your way around with people, I promise you, they would always have a way to pay themselves. Again, at SINOP, when you come, we have models and projections that we can do with you to know that, oh, if you want to start a business at this scale, hire 1 person, hire 2 persons, hire 3 persons, so that the diminishing returns don't fall in for you as well. But bottom line is that people will always find a way to pay themselves. They would always find. It is interesting to know that you can work with somebody for 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, 1 year. You've not paid them, but they stay at work, they come on time, they close on time, they fuel their car, they go home. Doesn't surprise you? Unlike somewhere, 2 months, they have resigned because he can't sustain it. So bear in mind that we would always find a way to pay ourselves. Okay. Number 9 talks about smooth ride forecasting. Smooth ride forecasting. And this smooth ride forecasting is a mistake that we do all the time. I'm not sure whether time will allow me to go through, but I'll quickly run you through one example of smooth ride forecasting. So this name is a generic name, Streetwise Handy Food Incorporated. He assumes that because Ghana has a population of 31 million, he wants to even get the West analysis. You know, I'm even targeting only 5%. Then he gets his monthly target, try to assume that he will sell one at 5 cedi and make over 600,000 a month. Then he checks his operating cost and think that at the end of the year, at the end of the month 1, he will be having a net of over 100,000 Ghana cedi. Then he will sit in front of you and try to create the impression that, oh, year 1 we'll make this, year 2 we'll make this, year 3 we'll make this, and year 5 we are going to make 16 million. Don't you think it's a good idea? Don't you think it's a good idea? But funny enough, this is what we call smooth ride analysis. He's not factored in seasons. You've not factored in whether the things will get rotten. You've not factored in warehouse costing. You've not factored in the 20 ladies or 10 men you'll be hiring, whether some will be sick, whether some will leave. You are not factored in whether there will be lockdown, whether there will be pandemic. You've not factored in whether there will be inflation, whether taxations will go up. No factors, no risk analysis. Everything is as good as every day, 10 times, 20 times, 15 times, 40. Always we need to avoid it. People will come to you, they have business ideas. If you're not careful, they will just drop in front of you, smooth ride analysis. And if you're not careful, your money is really going to lock down. I have met 1,000 of people here that gives all this analysis. And when you do that, like, guy, it won't work. Okay, it won't work. So again, SINOP has a team. If you want to do financial projections and models and forecasting, we are ready to assist you with all the possible risk analysis so that you can get your figures right. And that leads me to the number 10, which is key amongst all, is always find and work with professionals that can help you formalize your business. Again, at SINOP, there's a complete team that can help you for almost nothing, all right? Almost nothing. If you hear the fee, you'll be very surprised. With your company registration, the type of company you go to, whether you start with sole proprietorship, limited liability, limited by guarantee, whatever, we are ready to help advise you and help you. We'll take you through the tax laws, regulatory agencies that you need to get clear so that you are the right side of the law, business planning, the help, and marketing and everything will be able to help. So that is my last point. Above all these things that I've said from 1 to 9, always have in mind that you must work with professionals here, because everybody in Ghana is a professional. Everybody's ready to advise you, but I promise you, some will take you down the drain. So quickly, I will recap on the 10 things, because time is not our side. First one is know yourself. 2, everyone is a marketer. We are shy people. We fear to tell it to your face unless you wear your mask. Don't downplay statistics, but don't take them too seriously. Hire workers and treat beggars as beggars. Money is always important, but you don't might always not need it. Always discuss your contract before you sign them, and always find, well, we always find a way to pay ourselves. Very important. I'm sure you all know it. Again, avoid smooth ride forecasting. And the last but not the least, but most importantly, find professionals. And I'm sure when you find the professionals, we can help you solve the problem from 1 to 9. Okay. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, I am open. You have any experiences, anything that you want to share, please raise your hand and mention your name. You can share with us. Like I said, these are compressed. They are not theoretical. They are not research. They are not cast in stone. And so there might be some experience you also have that you might want to add. Thank you very much. I submit here. Yeah, George. George, you
yeah, hello. Yeah, Gabby, thank you. Thank you very much for such an insightful presentation. In fact, my highlights were on the third one. That is where we fear, or we fear people or something like, yeah, we fear to tell it to our faces, and at least we have to wear our mask. I think that is something that it was really hit on. We fear to tell it to your face unless you wear a mask. I think shyness, it's really eating us up to some extent. And I think because of one, people fear that, okay, hey, you may even lose your jobs and all that. So hey, why don't I be a little bit reserved?
Right.
Why don't I keep to myself what I have, what this information, are they going to take it or not? Right. I think that is something that is very, 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 and I've really experienced it. For it can even take you years before you can take that mask off your face.
Right.
And before you can tell people straight in their faces that, hey, what you are doing is wrong and what you are doing is right. So it's, in fact, for that, it has been a business culture, I would say, in the Ghanaian community, and which I think is a point well highlighted. The other point that you raised, which I find very fascinating too, is where you said that we will always find a way to pay ourselves. Yeah. I mean, by the time now the CEO realize that, oh, hey, whatever is happening, you would have kind of design a certain scheme to know how best you can also get some 2 cedis, 5 cedis somewhere or in there, to sort yourself out for the weekend.
Right.
And that leads to that projection that you said on we being, what do you call it? We chill more than these people. Honestly, as a good book could say, this honest money is always dwindles quickly.
Yeah.
Do you get it? Yeah. You go somewhere on Friday, for all you know, that money has been spent. And because you know how to get it back again the next week.
Right. And I think to quickly come in, it boils to what like when you look at HOFSTED'S table, the uncertainty avoidance, because we want to avoid uncertainty. Even if the CEO suggests that, I'll be paying you in 3 months, we are uncertain and want to avoid it. So either way, we'll still find a way to clear our way, and it's something that we need to bear in mind. And like, again, it is not cast in stone. We need to build, as a business, you build systems. It can be cured. I think, let me put it on the record. It can be cured with the right systems and structures. This strategy, can be cured so that you can work with the right people in the system. Auckland wanted to say something. AC.
I wanted to say something. Hello?
Right, AC, I can hear you.
Okay, I want to say not only will they pay themselves, but they will pay themselves first. That's been my experience.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting.
I like that.